Throughout every time period in the history of humanity, women have been half of the world. Yet, their incredible contributions and accomplishments have mostly been ignored by history books and mainstream culture today. That's a problem, because when we leave out the stories and histories of women, we lose half of our story as a people. Stories inspire all of us to see more, do more, and be more. And all of us benefit when women's stories are told. But we don't only have to look at the past to be inspired by amazing women. Today, you'll hear from several women that are making a difference every day in our community. Think about how their stories relate to your own life. Why did they become civically engaged in their community? What women do they look for inspiration? What could you do right now as a teen leader to make an impact on your school or neighborhood or city?
Hello, I'm Molly Cummings, the mayor of Hopkins. I'm starting my 3rd year as mayor.
Hi, I'm Jen Westmoreland Bouchard, and I'm a proud member of the Hopkins School Board.
Hello to all you scholars in Hopkins. My name is Claire Verbaten. I am currently a Deputy Political Director on the Tim Walz for Governor campaign.
I'm Michele Pasko, and I'm a member of the Hopkins Legislative Action Coalition, the LAC. And we advocate for school policy and funding at the Minnesota Legislature.
Hey Hopkins North Junior High School students, this is State Representative Peggy Flanagan here. I'm also running for Lieutenant Governor with Congressman Tim Walz.
I wanted to be able to give back to my community while being able to shape its future. I served on the Park Board, Zoning and Planning Commission, and then I ran for City Council. After serving for 4 years, I ran for the mayor and was elected.
I've been civically engaged for, well, as long as I can remember. My parents started the Empty Bowls fundraiser in Hopkins about 20 years ago, so I've had the pleasure of being involved with that for 20 years, and I'm sure I've seen many of you there. Last summer, I decided to take my civic engagement to the next level and ran for the Hopkins School Board.
So I got involved with this a long time ago when my kids were small. I saw how important school was, and it made me inspired to try to help the funding situations and the policy situations.
I always tell folks that I decided to get involved with politics because my life is sort of inherently political. As a young person, as a woman, as a person of color, as a daughter of a Senegalese immigrant, as a daughter of a teacher, there are so many laws that affect my life and honestly my ability to exist in this world. And I'm sure that is the case for many of you.
I first got engaged and involved in my community by volunteering on a campaign for Senator Paul Wellstone in 2002 when I was in college, and it changed my life. And that's one of the best ways that I think you can get involved and change your community is by volunteering on a campaign for someone that you really like or shares your values and cares about the same things that you care about.
I would suggest that 12 to 15-year-olds trying to get involved, you could attend your caucus and learn how it works and learn how your party forms its ideas and moves forward through the system to nominate people for elections.
If you see things that you think need to change, or you know of something that you think would be a great addition to your city, get in touch with your city council or your mayor. Send them an email, a letter, or call them on the phone. Let your voice be heard.
They do want to hear from students. They have said over and over again they want to hear from students. They know you're going to vote when you're 18.
This school board member would love to hear your input and ideas about what's going on at North and how we can make your experience better and how we can make our community stronger. A lot of adults like to talk about people between the ages of 12 and 18 as our future leaders. I think you're our current leaders, and we need your voices in the rooms where decisions are made. So I look forward to talking with you soon. In terms of women who have inspired me, the list is incredibly long.
One of the people who continues to inspire me is Rosa Parks. She knew that the world needed to change to be more fair and equitable.
I'm also very inspired by my fellow school board director, Fartuna Ahmed. She grew up here in Hopkins, not far from where I grew up, and our lived experiences culturally and in terms of how we moved through our communities and were perceived in our communities were completely different. And so one of the things I value most about our friendship and our working relationship is that I can learn a different perspective from her.
When I think about the women in history that have inspired me, it's kind of hard sometimes to find people who looked like me, who were in positions of power. There were a lot of barriers set up, particularly for women and for women of color. And so sometimes I'd have to say my leaders are kind of leaders today. I'm thinking a lot about Naomi Wadler, who gave that amazing speech at March for Our Lives, who's an 11-year-old black girl. She's an inspiration to me. And I think about my boss, Peggy Flanagan, who's running for lieutenant governor, recognizing that in her we have the opportunity to elect the first person of color statewide, the first Indigenous woman, and the highest ranking Native woman in the entire country. And I'm sure some of you will end up being some of my role models too, going forward.
A woman who means a lot to me as a leader is a woman named LaDonna Harris. She was married to Senator Fred Harris, who served in Oklahoma. He's a U.S. Senator from Oklahoma. And one of the things that she taught me and teaches me is that she says, at no time in my life am I not a Comanche woman. So she remembers who she is at all times. The same way that for me, at no time in my life can I stop being an Ojibwe woman. And that is how I lead and how I try to live my life and be a good leader, a good friend, and hopefully a good mom. So thanks so much for asking me to participate in this. Your teacher, Allegra, is the best. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Now in your C2 home base, take some time to reflect. Who is a woman that inspires you, either alive or from the past? It could be a famous person, a family member, a teacher, or a woman from our video. Using the paper from your C2 teacher, write a thank you card to her and tell her why or how she inspires you.